Hello everyone, 5 Minute Late here. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day so far. If you clicked on this video, chances are you're probably very excited for Halloween Horror Nights this year, as am I. For this video, I'm going to be talking about all the haunted houses, scare zones, and terror tram, and possible shows that are coming to this year's event, and I'm going to be talking about just exactly how excited I am for each attraction. So let's not waste any more time, let's just jump straight into the offerings this year. Let's first talk about the houses. Just like the past couple years, there will be 8 houses this year, and the majority of them, just like every other year, will be based on some of the most iconic franchises. Arguably the most popular one out of the bunch will be Five Nights at Freddy's. This haunted house is going to be based strictly on the Blumhouse movie that was released a couple years ago. This headlining attraction will be located in Soundstage 15, where the Weekend Nightmare trilogy was last year. It's going to be the soundstage right behind the Transformers ride if you guys are unfamiliar with the actual location. Also a headliner will be Fallout. Just like with Five Nights at Freddy's, it is based on a very popular video game series, but the maze will be based on the adaptation, so in this case it will be based on the show on Amazon. Fallout will be located in what's called the UBE venue, which is where A Quiet Place was last year. The third big headliner for this year will be Terrifier. Based on the entire trilogy, the house will feature Art the Clown's most sadistic and most disgusting kills in the entire franchise. This house will be located in the H lot, particularly where Ghostbusters Frozen Empire was last year. Another iconic slasher that's coming to this year's HHN is Jason Voorhees with his brand new house, Jason Universe. This is going to be the first time in 8 years that this character is going to be featured in HHN. And his house is going to be located next to the Mummy ride, where Dead Exposure was last year. This next house is a little bit of a wild card, a little bit of an outside the box kind of thing, and that's WWE presents The Horrors of the Wyatt Six. Not only is this house set to showcase, well, as the title states, the horrors of the Wyatt Six, but it will also serve as a one big tribute to the late Bray Wyatt. This house will be located in the Jurassic World Extended Queue, which hasn't been used as a maze location since 2017. 3 of the houses this year will only be exclusive to Hollywood's event, one of them being Monstros III, the Ghosts of Latin America. This final installment of the Monstros trilogy will bring back fan favorite La Llorona, but will also introduce La Muelona y La Ciguanaba. Just like the previous 2 Monstros houses, this one will be located in Parisian Courtyard. Then we have Poltergeist. This is actually the second time that this classic film will be featured at Horror Nights. And just like Terrifier, it will be located in the H lot, specifically where Insidious was last year. And finally is another returning fan favorite, and that's Scarecrow. This time around, it will feature a score composed by Slash. And this house will be located in T-Pad, where the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house was last year. The theme for the Terror Tram this year is yet another repeat, which is Blumhouse. This time it's celebrating its 15th anniversary, and yet again it will feature Megan, the Grabber, and also some characters from Exorcist Believer and a couple of other surprises along the way. Now let's talk about the scare zones. Just like last year, there will be 4 scare zones. In the entrance is your usual chainsaw troupe, and this year it'll be all themed to clowns. And just like previous years, the New York Street Scare Zone, aka the Scare Zone with the Fire Towers, will have a similar-ish kind of theme with the Chainsaw Zone. And the theme for this year is Carnival of Carnage. I know a lot of people are going to be looking forward to clowns with chainsaws and fire, right?
No thanks, I choose life.
Located in French Street will be Noche de Brujas, which follows the ongoing theme of the Scare Zone on French Street being connected to the Parisian Courtyard house. And finally, making their return is the Murder of Crows. The iconic Crow family that's becoming more and more popular in HHN Hollywood every year will be returning. Also, we can't forget about the live entertainment that just eats up those crowds. First one being The Purge, Dangerous Waters, which will be making its 3rd appearance at Halloween Horror Nights, and just like the previous 2 years, it will be located in the Waterworld Stunt Show. Now, as of this recording, they still have yet to announce what's going to be happening with the DreamWorks Theater, what show is going to be announced, if there's going to be a show. But based on what's currently happening right now with all the merchandise, it has basically been confirmed at this point that Hamikuma from Halloween Horror Nights in Japan will be making its debut on both Orlando and Hollywood parks. Now, this is all just speculation, but I mean, like, they haven't announced anything for DreamWorks, and they haven't announced what they're gonna do with Hamikama, so I think it's fair to put two and two together and assume that there might be some kind of Hamikama show at DreamWorks. But at this point, we just gotta keep waiting for more announcements. John Murdy did say that there will be another surprise or two coming, but at least we know every single house that's coming this year. And looking at this lineup, me personally, I haven't been this excited for an HHN lineup since 2019. Yeah, there are a couple of repeats here and there, but a lot of highly requested IPs from over the years are finally coming this year. I also like how there's a little bit of everything for everyone. We got some slasher horror, we got some paranormal horror, we got some like outside the box IPs like Fallout and Wyatt 6. So yeah, all of these houses together, it's very interesting. But what do I think about each individual house and just how excited am I for each one? Well, that's where this hype ranking comes in. So I'm going to be talking about each one of the houses from least anticipated to most anticipated for me. Not only that, but I also have a hype meter. And based on just exactly how hyped or not hyped I am for each house, I'm going to categorize them into a certain tier. Let's start the ranking off with my number 8, my least anticipated house of the year. And that house is going to be Scarecrow, music by Slash. Now, I know a lot of you guys like Scarecrow, and believe me, the first Scarecrow maze will always have a special place in my heart. But one of my biggest pet peeves from Halloween Horror Nights are just direct repeats. So, say for example, Holidays in Hell. When they brought it for like a couple years ago, it was literally the exact same thing as the previous versions. Same exact scenes, same exact scares, and it just made for a very predictable and boring experience. And my biggest fear, which is currently, like my gut feeling as of now towards this house, is that it's going to be no exception. It's going to be the exact same thing except with Slash music. And I feel like Slash's music is just going to make it even worse somehow because it's just going to feel so out of place with the rest of the house. So yeah, Scarecrow, hands down my least anticipated, straight up LOL tier for me. My number 7 is going to be another returning maze, and that's Poltergeist. Now, it's more or less the same reason why Scarecrow was ranked so low in the anticipation ranking, because I fear it's just going to be another direct repeat with maybe like 1 or 2 changes here and there. But the reason why I'm slightly more excited for Poltergeist than Scarecrow is because there's just been more time since we last seen this IP. Like Scarecrow, the first house, I think we saw 3 years ago. And then Poltergeist, we haven't seen it since 2018. So there is a little bit of breathing room there. So yeah, it's less of an LOL type of expectations and more of a meh expectations. My number 6 is going to be Monstros III, the Ghosts of Latin America. Now these houses are always phenomenal. I always really enjoy these mazes, but the reason why it's in the lower side of this anticipation ranking is because not only is it our 3rd time seeing this universe, but also La Llorona is a part of it, and I fear they're just gonna reuse set pieces and animatronics from the La Llorona mazes. But I hope I'm wrong, and hopefully they'll close out this universe with a bang. So yeah, this is going in my will check out tier. My number 5 is actually going to be the Wyatt 6. Now, I know some of you are probably wondering you're more excited for a wrestling maze over Scarecrow and Monstros, 2 fan favorites? Yes, and let me explain why. Now, I don't know a single thing about wrestling. I haven't watched a single WWE match. I don't know anything about the lore and stuff like that. I'm not up to date with anything that goes down with WWE. So now you're probably asking yourself why are you willing to check out something that you know little to nothing about? Well, that's the thing. I like having modest expectations for certain things. I like walking into haunted houses not knowing what to expect at all, because it's a lot more exciting. I, for one, am looking forward to learning more about the Wyatt 6 and Bray Wyatt. And who knows, it might even potentially be one of the scariest houses this year. You never know. My number 4 is going to be Fallout. Now, just like with WWE, this is another IP that I know little to nothing about. I kind of have a rough idea of what the games are about, but I haven't seen a single episode of the Amazon show, which I do plan on changing right after I'm done making this video. So yeah, it's more or less a similar situation with Wyatt 6, meaning I'm willing to check out because I have neutral expectations and I can't wait to see what they cook up. But the reason why I'm slightly more excited for this than Wyatt 6 is because of all the potential characters that we might see. Based on all like the articles and all the details that I've been reading about this house in particular, and like a little like the synopsises that I've read about all the characters and environments of Fallout, I feel like it could be like a very exciting attraction. I feel like this is gonna be one of those movies where they're gonna pour like the majority of their like budget into. So I'm very looking forward to seeing that, especially since this is located in the same space as Quiet Place, and that house was I was just blown away with. So I can't wait to see what they cook up with Fallout. My number 3 is going to be Jason Universe. Now, fun fact about me, Jason is my personal favorite slasher out of like the Mount Rushmore of horror. But I have very mixed emotions with the brand new Jason Universe brand. Yeah, I mean, like, we have the character back and like all this sorts of stuff, like comics and movies and games and stuff, but I don't know, like, to me, it's just like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but like, they make Jason like less of a character and more of like a marketable figure kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, I just have a lot of very weird, conflicted feelings towards Jason Universe. But, I mean, it's Jason Voorhees. Of course, I'm going to be very excited for that. And it is promised to have like homages to like some of his most iconic kills from the franchise. It is going to be really cool to walk through Camp Crystal Lake and see all the famous scenes from all the different movies. But I don't know. I hope like seeing that goofy looking Jason do all that stuff, like I hope it doesn't kill the experience for me. I highly doubt it will. Like, it's gonna be a totally different story. Best case scenario, maybe after experiencing the house, I would be completely sold on the whole Jason Universe thing. Who knows? My number 2 is going to be Terrifier. I've never seen a horror character get so popular in like such a quick amount of time than Art the Clown. A lot of people are saying that like he's like this generation's next big horror icon, and I wouldn't argue with that. I wouldn't disagree. But I never thought he would ever make an appearance in Halloween Horror Nights, because like the whole point of Terrifier is that like the kills in those movies kind of like push the boundaries of like what can be like shown in movie screens, and like just how much can we gross people out. And knowing Horror Nights and Hollywood specifically more long history of like removing stuff because of people complaining, I thought there's no way they're gonna bring Terrifier to the event. Not only did they prove me wrong, but they're promising that they're not gonna hold back at all. They're promising one of, if not the goriest, bloodiest, and most disgusting Horror Nights experience ever made. I don't know if it's Universal trying to be like as hyperbolic as possible to get more tickets sold, or if they really are reassuring us and like letting us know that like, yeah, it's not going to be censored at all. So yeah, I am very curious to see how they're going to pull everything off, to see if they're really going to deliver the promise and just gross us out like more than ever. But my number 1, my most anticipated house of this year, the maze that I am most excited to experience this year, is going to be Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, let me just say, I'm not really like a big Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I have played the first couple of games and I have seen the movie, and when it comes to like the big like rich lore that they have, I only know the basics. So why is it that Five Nights at Freddy's is my most anticipated of the year? Well, it's for a number of reasons actually. The Jim Henson Company, the crew that made the animatronics for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, are set to make the animatronics for the house. So the animatronics are going to look just like how they did in the movie. And it's honestly really cool because like the ones in the movie actually look like the animatronics from the game. So it's going to be like the characters from the game like leaped out and like went into this haunted house. That's going to be really exciting. Also, like in all of my years of going to Halloween Horror Nights, Five Nights at Freddy's was one of those IPs that was just like highly requested like every single year. Like every time like John Murray would post something on Twitter, under the comments would be like, oh, so when is Five Nights at Freddy's coming? Oh, so when are you going to bring Five Nights at Freddy's? Have you played Five Nights at Freddy's? What did you think of it? Would you consider it bringing it into a maze? Just like, trust me, like I know like it's one of those like highly requested IPs. So while I am pretty excited to finally see it at Horror Nights, I'm even more excited for like the more hardcore fanatics. I just know they're like gonna be like super happy and super excited to be there. So yeah, and that's honestly like the main reason why I'm excited for Five Nights at Freddy's from Horror Nights, because it's gonna create a new generation of Horror Nights fans. And yeah, that's my ranking from least anticipated to most anticipated. Again, this lineup sounds really cool, a little bit of everything for everyone, and I am like very excited and curious to check out most of these. It's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be a really fun year. But then we still have the Terror Tram, and at first I was gonna put this on my meh tier, but then I really started thinking like, wow, like this really is gonna be the exact same thing as last year, and I really didn't even enjoy the cherry tram last year. So yeah, I just straight up putting this in my LOL tier. Yeah, I think this is gonna be that if I really had to like skip an attraction, I think I would skip this one without hesitation. Yeah, like I think I could be happy with not doing this at all this year. And finally, we have the scare zones. If y'all are new to my channel, I have mentioned in many of my videos that I do not care for Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood's scare zones because they're just like so mid. Back when I started going, they went all out, but nowadays they all have like 1 or 2 dioramas of skeletons. So yeah, my expectations for all the scare zones are always going to be low. But I will say, the Carnival of Carnage and Clown Chainsaw scare zone, they do give me a little bit of that like those vibes of like the clown scare zones from like the early days of HHN. I unfortunately never got the chance to experience those scare zones, but if it's gonna be anything like that, it could be pretty cool. But again, it's Hollywood scare zones, so I do have to like temper my expectations a bit. So I think all of the scare zones, not just the clown ones, but also like Noche de Brujas and the Murder Crows one, they all go on my well checked out tier. And that's gonna be it for today's video. If you like what you saw, go ahead and click the like button. If you want to see more content like this now that Horror Nights is right around the corner, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Also, let me know down in the comments, what house are you most excited for? What house are you least excited for? If you want to do a whole ranking yourself in the comments, feel free to do so. If you stuck around to the very end of the video, thank you so much for watching. And until then, see you on